Welcome viewers. Question number 1 is a quantity comparison question. Here we have a triangle, and in this question we want to see if the quantity A is greater than quantity B, or quantity B is greater than quantity A, or they are both equal, or they don't have any relationship at all. So we start with the information that has been given to us about this triangle. So we know that the distance from A to B is 12, maybe 12 units, however the case may be. So we know from this distance to this distance we have 12 units, and from the distance from A to C is 30. So let me draw a triangle here, a replication here. So we have this triangle like this now. This is B, this is A, this is D, and this is C. So we are given that AB is 12, so here is 12. AC is 30, so the distance from A to C is 30 units. And we're given that AD is 2 over 5 of AC. So the distance from here to here is AD, and it is 2 over 5 of this quantity AC. So we know 2 over 5 of AC. AC is already 30 units, so we have 2 over 5 of 30, that's times 30. And 5, we cancel 30, we have 6. 2 times 6 is 12. So the distance from A to D is as well 12. And you know, the distance from A to C is 30. And we already know a part of it, which is A to D, which is 12. So the remaining will be 18 to make up 30 units for A to C. You understand? Now, this angle here is 90 degrees. We've missed it out. We want to find the measurement of the angle BDC. So the BDC is this angle here. This is BDC. So we want to find this angle here. And we want to compare this angle, whatever we get here, with the 120 degrees in quantity B. So how do we get this angle here? It's a really very simple task to do. Now, if you look at this smaller triangle within this shape, we can see that this is an isosceles triangle, right? This is a right angle isosceles triangle, right? Yeah, right angle isosceles triangle. So it means that here is 90 degrees. This other part will be 45 degrees, right? To make it up 90 degrees, isn't it? So we know that if here is 45 degrees, this angle BDC will sum up to this 45 to give us 180, which is angle on a straight line. So 45 degrees plus angle BDC will give me 180 degrees. That's the sum of angles on a straight line. That's this one now. So we can collect like terms. So we have BDC is equal to 180 minus 45, and that will give me 135. So you can see that quantity A, which is angle BDC, is 135, and quantity B, which is 120 degrees, is less than this one. So we can say that for this question, quantity A is greater. So we are picking quantity A. So we move over to the next question. Now, question number 2, we have x squared plus 6x is equal to 7, and this is also another quantitative comparison question. We want to compare quantity A and quantity B. Now, we have various ways of solving this problem. The very first way you can solve this problem is solving for the value of x in this quadratic equation. There you can now substitute those values of s in quantity A to see if it is equal to this one or if it is greater than this one. So let's quickly solve this quadratic equation. So we have s squared plus 6x minus 7 equal to 0. When you take 7 into this equality, into the left hand side, you have a negative 7. And now you're looking for two values. When you multiply them together, you will get a negative 7. And when you add the same two values together, you get a positive 6. Now those two values are minus 1 and 7, because minus 1 times 7 will give us, you can also call it positive 7 for clarity's sake. Minus 1 times positive 7 will give me a negative 7, and minus 1 plus 7 will give me a positive 6. So that means the left hand side can be factorized as x minus 1 and x plus 7. So now you have two quantity, the product of two quantity equal to 0. It means that you equate each of them to 0 to get the values of x. Now for this first one, you have x is equal to positive 1. When this one moves over to the other side of the equation, it becomes a positive number. And for the other one, you have x is equal to minus 7. When you take positive 7 to the other side, it becomes minus 7. Now we've gotten two values of x. Now the next thing you want to do, you substitute these values of x into this quantity a. Okay, so you know quantity a is x plus 3 all squared. So we have two values of s. So for the first one, which is 1, we have 1 plus 3 all squared, which will be 4 squared, and which will be equal to 16. And you see quantity a in this case is equal to quantity b, which is 16. Yeah, so but we will not conclude at this point. We still need to check in for the other value of x, which is minus 7. So you plug in minus 7, you have minus 7 plus 3 all squared, which will give me minus 4 all squared, which will still give me 16. Now we can finally conclude that quantity a and quantity b are equal. The other way you can go about solving this question too is by completing the square. Completing the square is much more easier and faster if you really know how to do that. So let us move to question number 3. Now, question number 3. We want to, in this rectangular coordinate system, the point 3, 1 is on the circle with center 0, minus 3. What is the area of the circle? Now, we are interested in finding the area of a circle. And the formula to find the area of a circle is simply pi r squared. Okay, or if you can say, it's still the same as saying pi d over 2 squared, because this is the same thing as your radius. D over 2, dividing the radius into 2, you get the, dividing the diameter into 2, you get the radius. So it's the same thing with this one. Now from this question given to us, we are told that this point here is on the circle. Just to draw a sketch of this problem, you have a circle like this, and this is the center of the circle, and this point here is on the circle. So if here is your center and this one is on the circumference of the circle, you see that the distance from the center to the circumference is the radius. There are so many other ways you can solve this problem. You may want to draw the coordinate system, locate the center, and locate this point, draw a circle, then you measure out the radius, plug in the radius here, and get the area of a circle. But whereby you have the other way I want to use to solve this problem is finding the distance from the center to the circumference. So if you understand the distance from the center to the circumference, you can also solve this problem. Now the distance is given as r is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. This is the formula for the distance, and this distance is the same as the radius. So if I can get the radius, then I'll just plug it into this area formula, and that's all. So now if I want to take this point at the center to be the first point and this to be the second point, here will be my x1, here will be my y1, and here will be my x2, here will be my y2. Just how we that's how the coordinate system, these are just the coordinates of a point. So from this point, you see that the x2 is 3, so r is equal to the square root. X2 is 3 and the x1 is 0, so we have squared like this. Y2 is 1 and y1 is negative 3 all squared. So this guy turns up to plus, so we have here to be 3 squared plus 4 squared, and finally we have 25 when you simplify all of this stuff. So finally the radius is equal to 5. Now I've gotten the value of the radius, we can go over to the area of the circle and simply get the area of the circle. So the area of the circle is pi r squared. The radius is already 5, so we have pi 5 squared. 5 squared is 25, so we definitely have 25 pi. So this is the answer to this question number 3. Front information that was given to us, s is equal to the absolute value of t minus 2. Now one thing about absolute value is that it transforms both positive and negative numbers into positive numbers. That's one thing about absolute value function. But for this case, the very way we can solve this problem or to compare this problem is by assigning values to these two variables x and t. Now from these two upfront information, it is clear to us that if x is 0, if s is equal to 0 and t is equal to 2, these two values of x and t satisfy this upfront information. If you plug in t, 2 to be t here, 2 minus 2 is 0, absolute value of 0 is 0, and x is 0, so it both satisfy. So let us work with this value of x and this value of t. Now quantity A says x plus 2, and now x is 0, so we have 0 plus 2, which is 2. Quantity B says absolute value of t, and absolute value of t here is absolute value of 2, which is still 2. Now for this case, these two guys are equal, but we will not conclude at this point. So let us try other values of x and t. So we want to check for x equal to 1, and we want to check for t equal to 1. Let us verify if these two numbers will satisfy the upfront information. So if I plug in x to be 1, if I plug in t to be 1 here, 1 minus 2 will still give me minus 1, and absolute value of minus 1 is still positive 1, and x is 1 here, so it still satisfies this upfront information. So let us work with these two values now for the quantity A and quantity B. Remember, quantity A is x plus 2, so x is 1, so we have 1 plus 2, and we have 3 here. And quantity B is absolute value of t, which is absolute value of 1, and which is still 1. You see now, for this case, quantity A is greater, and for this case, they are both equal. So we conclude that they don't have any relationship. So D is our final answer. So thank you very much for watching. I would like to see you in the next tutorial. Bye.